Coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. Breast cancer is the most common cancer among Canadian women. And each October, fundraisers and awareness campaigns are held across the country, shining the spotlight on women's health. Grade 1 students at Irwin School in Swift Current had a special guest visit their classroom, as Deputy Premier and Minister of Education Gordon Wyatt dropped by to launch a new math support program. Another influenza season is here, and in the coming weeks, public health clinics across the province will be offering the flu shot free of charge. Thanks for joining us here today. Women's health is in the spotlight this month, with national campaigns focusing on breast cancer. Breast cancer is the most common cancer among Canadian women, and each October, fundraisers and awareness campaigns are held across the country, shining the spotlight on women's health. And according to the Canadian Cancer Society, early detection and advancements in treatment are making a difference in overall survival rates.
87% of women diagnosed with breast cancer will survive 5 years beyond that diagnosis, thanks to improvements in early detection and treatment. And that is, we thank our donors for the support that we've been able to invest in game-changing research to better understand how to prevent, detect, and treat breast cancer.
And by maintaining a healthy lifestyle and keeping up to date with your annual medical checkups can make a world of difference in cancer prevention.
To remind women between the ages of 50 and 69 to have a mammogram every 2 years and to talk to your doctor about that. And also, even if you're getting regularly screened, to make sure you're aware of what is normal for your breasts. Many women find their own breast cancer through changes they notice in the look and feel of their breasts, and in the past, experts have said that it should be done at a certain time of the month, a certain way, but research now tells us that isn't necessary, that women need to just become familiar with their breast tissue by looking and feeling their breasts, and if there's anything out of the ordinary, they need to talk to their doctor.
Stats from the Canadian Cancer Society estimate that 1 in 8 Canadian women will develop breast cancer during their lifetime, and 1 in 31 will die from the illness. Saskatchewan's Education Minister made a stopover in Swift Current to visit local students, with the focus on math. Grade 1 students at Irwin School in Swift Current had a special guest visit their classroom, as Deputy Premier and Minister of Education Gordon Wyatt dropped by to launch a new math support program. Students eagerly took to their desks and helped to demonstrate the new Help Me Talk About Math interactive iPad game, a new learning tool launched by Saskatchewan Education.
They're using it here in this school and hope that they'll be rolling out in other schools around the province. But it's as an interactive tool to help learn. Technology's all around us, right? And so it's pretty important.
The Math iPad app follows the success of the Askey and Friends Help Me Tell My Story book series. Educational resources intended to engage all students in learning from a young age, while increasing overall provincial grade scores.
We want to make sure that not only math scores, but literacy, we have some pretty significant goals that we want to make when it comes to literacy and numeracy in classrooms. And kids have access to all this technology, and they're used to it. And so using technology to enhance those outcomes, I think, is pretty important, and kids pick it up pretty quickly.
And the Help Me Talk About Math app not only assists students with math and numeracy skills, but also includes First Nations and Métis content.
We're the first province to introduce treaty education in our classrooms, and I think that ensuring that our kids understand the history of our province, understand, the cultural aspects of this province is pretty important. And so as we're continuing to develop curricula, as we continue to kind of work on these things in the classroom, ensuring that kids understand the history of this province, understand the important role that First Nations have played.
The Help Me Talk About Math app will be rolled out across the province, with iPads and other computer accessories purchased by individual school divisions from Saskatchewan Education.
I'm Joe Fafard, a sculptor from Regina. I'm represented by the Slate Gallery in Regina. I make mostly sculptures of animals, including the human animal. So I worked in ceramics from about 1969 to 84, and then I switched to bronze, and now I have a foundry in Penn, Saskatchewan, where we cast my sculptures in bronze. But I still work with a clay, but it's an artificial clay, not fired like ceramics is. After I make the sculpture in that clay, we take a mold of it. I have a staff of 6 people at the foundry in Pence, which is called Julien Atelier, named after my mother. And we continue to make work there. We cast for a few other artists as well. Many came from an idea that I had because I lived in Regina that used to be called Pile of Bones. And I thought it would be a good idea to do a big pile of bones in the shape of a bison. And I wanted to do it, but I could never find the funds or the backing to do it, and I didn't have enough funds myself to do it. And I had been asked to make a proposal for the corner of 12th and Scarth, where I presently have something. But what I had proposed for that was many, and larger than this one, about 10 feet high, like a big pile of bones, and all cast in bronze from real buffalo bones. But it would have cost, a meteor hockey player's salary to do it, so it couldn't be done. Well, you draw your inspiration really, from life and all of one's life. I think we set up our own sensibility when we're children, and we continue with that sensibility throughout our adult life. So a lot of what I draw from is my experience as a fresh child who observed the world for the first time, and seeing it in that light, it makes it easier to present a fresher vision of things in my work. So I do work a lot from my past experience, and I also work from present observations, as present observations of people, present observations of animals, and also looking at modern media. You can find a lot of things in there that refresh your memory about things. I'm mostly known in Saskatchewan and Canada, but I have some other places, that people know about me. And in the States, there's places, in Europe, and I have even worked in Japan, so I have some places, yeah. But here is, of course, where I'm from, and that's where most people know me. When you have a gallery like the Slate Gallery or Art Placement in Saskatoon, that host your openings, their openings of their artists, that sell the work. They support the artists. They support the public too by providing a venue for them to come and see work and to spend time and discuss and buy, stuff like that. I can't stress the importance of galleries, commercial galleries, enough. And of course, museum galleries are important as well, and they do play a role, but it's a different role. And I'm very delighted to see that this gallery here in Swift Current has decided to bridge that gap and to invite a commercial gallery or two to come and do a show and to speak about the importance of selling work and things like that.
It's that time of the year to roll up your sleeve with the arrival of influenza season. Another influenza season is here, and in the coming weeks, public health clinics across the province will be offering the flu shot free of charge.
Like last year, we have a quadrivalent, or what we call a quadrivalent vaccine, which has 4 elements, or it combats 4 elements of influenza, 2 types of A and 2 types of B. In the A is included the H1N1 vaccine and what is called an H3N2, which is usually very common influenza that circulates. But in addition, this year something new is we have a high potency vaccine that is going to be used more for seniors above 65 years of age in long-term care facilities, which is 4 times stronger than the usual vaccine and is really targeted to help them because many of them have weaker immune systems, so we are hoping we get a better response out of that.
And if you're still one of those individuals sitting on the fence about actually rolling up your sleeve for the flu shot, the benefits outweigh the consequences of spending numerous days homesick with the flu.
You know, never say never. You don't know if you will or won't get the flu. So it's useful to protect yourself because, again, another misconception is that the flu is your everyday cold. The flu is quite different from the cold in that it's more serious, and even very healthy individuals who do get the flu find it quite hard on them, and you many a time will have to stay at home. Some cases do get hospitalized. So if you take the vaccine, that certainly helps prevent the seriousness of the influenza when you get it. The second thing and advantage is that by taking the vaccine, you're also less likely to carry much virus, and if you do get exposed and get the infection, you transmit less of it because you'll have a less severe infection. So you're also protecting others by not spreading the disease. So you help yourself and you help your community, your family, people around you at work. So it's good to take the vaccine.
Influenza shots are available free of charge across the province, from pharmacists to public health clinics and most physician offices. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at southwesttvnews.com. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.